Alright, so as you can see, we are starting this episode in the swamp because today's build we need a lot of slime balls. Well, not a lot, but we need some slime balls.
Just a few. Yeah.
Because today we're building a moss farm. And as you can see, we had to travel very, very far to get here.
I think it's like 4,000 blocks out.
Our horses are 4,000 blocks out, roughly.
Yeah.
Because we rode our horses to as far as we could before we hit, like, an ocean.
A huge ocean.
Yeah, so we have to get back to them. They're probably wondering where we're at. But yeah, we got a lot of slime balls. Looting definitely
we waited
helped
like
with that.
2 nights out here too.
Yeah, we had to kind of
Because it
camp
has to
out
be a
over
full
here.
moon. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know that you had to wait for a full moon to even be able to have slimes spawn out here. But I collected some other things while I was out here, like some of this like moss, like or algae, I guess it's probably more accurate, and some of these cattails, because I think those will be great. But whoa, look at that! Holding my items adds physics. Anyway, I don't know if we just said it, but we're gonna build the moss farm. But before we can even get to doing that, we gotta make the long trip back home. Dude, it took us like an hour to get here the other night. I know what y'all are probably thinking, like, it took y'all an hour just to go 5,000 blocks? Well, we got distracted by a few things on the way here.
Doing so much.
I'm pretty sure there was like a village somewhere, and then there was like some ruins and just all types of cool stuff on the way that we kind of checked out. Yeah, look, there's the village right there. So, yeah, so we will talk to you guys once we get back. Okay, so, oh my god, are you kidding me? Well,
Gorgeous.
that's alright. I was gonna say we just made it back to the beautiful lands of Beanshire, but of course it starts raining as soon as I'm about to talk about how beautiful it is. Anyway, last episode we built the blacksmith house, and as you can see, I've had it working overtime. We've got something smelting up. I've just been wasting these lava buckets. It's still like full and we have nothing left to smelt. Today we're gonna build the moss farm. I know what y'all might be thinking. We got a moss farm back at Hillside, but it's super inefficient and it's very inconvenient to have to travel 1,200 blocks back every time we want bone meal. I think we're gonna build it somewhat back here. I don't know where Sydney is.
I'm sorry, I'm stuck.
There she goes, opposite direction.
I didn't know where you were.
What is so great about this one is that I learned that you can make these type of farms completely self-sustaining. Link in the description if you want to see whose farm this is. Yeah, I'm really excited to make that farm. We're probably just going to start by putting the farm in and then the building around it. We're using a lot of bone block, a lot of sandstone, a lot of birch, a lot of oak. It's more similar to this kind of color palette right here than anything. And then some copper in the roof. There's going to be a nice gradient in the roof. We're going for a very overgrown vibe with this moss factory. So, with all that being said, we will probably get to gathering up this material list because it's a lot, and not only is it a lot in terms of like the build itself, but all the redstone components as well. We're gonna need to gather all that up as well. So we'll see you guys whenever we finish that up. Finish up that list. Also, our last video got 160 something views. And we gained a ton of subscribers, maybe like 20 subs. So, welcome to like the 20 of you who are new here. I really appreciate
Thank you.
y'all joining us along on this journey. Thanks for all of like the views and the comments were really nice. Enough of me talking. I'm gonna get into this material list with Sydney, and we'll hit y'all back whenever we got everything we need for the build. Okay, so I'm back at the lovely hillside, and I'm just waiting on some bone meal to start popping out and stuff like that at the Moss Farm, the old Moss Farm. We would like to start a new segment in these videos where it's kind of like a comment of the day kind of thing. Pretty much just like we'll pick a comment to read, put it on screen, stuff like that. This episode's comment comes from Jackson, and he said, "Yo, I'm a little late, but your videos get exponentially better with every upload. Don't give up on this. Heart emoji." Yeah, I really appreciate that. We really appreciate that. We work really hard to make these videos. You know, we're really trying to make these good quality and just like the best quality they can be with like the limited amount of time and resources we have. We don't have the most like insane setups or anything like that made or catered for making content.
And definitely not a lot of free time.
Yeah,
so.
We definitely don't have a lot of free time, so we're trying our hardest. And you know, we definitely won't stop doing this. This is definitely something that we've both really enjoyed up until this point. Relatively, not even relatively, but generally it's been very stress-free, and we haven't had a lot of like stress trying to get uploads out. Last week was a little stressful because we're still trying to figure out this new schedule to give ourselves time to work on our new series and stuff like that, but no, we really appreciate that, and thank you so much. Jackson is actually a very good friend of mine in real life. I've known him for a couple of years now. Really great dude, so we really appreciate that, and we love all of you. So thank you so much for all of y'all's kind words. That's just one of the 3 people that commented, and everyone's had very nice things to say. So not only thank you to him, but thank you to all of you, because the very few of you that stick with us and are what drive us to continue making content. And I think even if nobody was watching at all, we'd continue to upload and stuff like that, because currently we're loving what we're doing. So yeah. Okay, so look to maybe the left a little bit. A little more. Yeah, boy. As you can see, if you look behind us, we've got the Moss Farm up and running. We've got a lot of... Let me see if I could open a chest. Oh no. Yeah,
go to that
look at
bottom
that.
one.
Look at that. We've got moss coming in bunches, and then we've set up these little bone meal machines, these composters. Yeah, see, so we've got a little bit of... Oh god, I'm getting disoriented. So yeah, we've got a little bit of profit coming in. So far, we're just taking all of our yield from the farm and putting it in the bone meal machine. Okay, so Sydney put this entire thing together.
After graciously following that lovely tutorial by name again?
UForced?
UForced?
Yeah. So, would you like to explain kind of how it works if you get it, or even if you don't,
Oh,
just to the
yeah,
best of
for
your ability?
sure. Okay, so come over here. Okay, so this lever turns it off and on. Okay, I think there's a clock in here. There's a huge hole underneath all this.
Okay.
You can hear the sticky pistons. Yeah, it's literally it bone meals ground. Stone is created from this, pushes it out, and it pushes out the moss, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, Slay. As you can tell, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Nothing like the anxiety of making sure it's not broken. Although, I don't understand how it's producing moss.
It's like under this block right
Oh.
here. There's like a dispenser underneath. And there's a block specifically with an air bubble. And that's the only block. It's not these blocks. It's underneath.
Okay, that's smart. That's very smart, because that could have easily just broke the whole machine. If I may, I think these 3 hoppers feed into the self-sustaining system that kind of like refills the machine. So it
There's
constantly... Go ahead, tell
There's a
me.
hopper trail that goes like this. You know? It connects back to the dispenser that's like right here.
Okay.
And then leads to that, and then the rest of these 4 hoppers are our yield.
Maybe eventually we'll be able to make our own original redstone device. That is a goal of mine with this world, is to be able to make an original device. I jokingly was talking about how that super smelter came from my genius prowess. But I mean, guys, obviously, like, if you look up how to make a super smelter, you'll probably like find 5 of them on YouTube that look like that. I don't know if I would even really consider it redstone at all, because it's literally just flicking a lever that's like powering a power rail that goes back and forth.
Yeah.
So I mean, but this definitely did not come from our little brains. But yeah, this did. Look at this, perfect redstone, straight from our cranium. This machine's going to be very useful for us whenever it comes to getting bone block from now on.
It's such a pretty block, and really the only time, with the silos, of course, and then on the previous server building, that's nothing compared to what we have to, for sure.
On our previous server, she did this like mushroom forest, where I don't think it was many custom trees, but it was very like nature-esque.
Custom mushrooms.
Yeah, she did custom mushrooms that looked really good. And
they were really hard.
Yeah, I personally think those still hold up today, even though we've gotten, in my opinion, much better at building since then. I do think that those mushrooms still hold up. Although nowadays, I think it's fair to say that we're both pretty leaning heavy into the more realistic looking buildings and stuff like that. Now we're probably just gonna lay out the rest of these machines kind of the way we have it for the build, just to like get some like basic work on the interior done. We're nowhere near being done with this build, but or at least get these machines down so that we can start getting some bone block more efficiently. Yeah, we're gonna do some more resource gathering. I think we have most of the stuff we need. It's just a matter of like getting the correct number and all that. So yeah, once we have that figured out, I guess we're gonna commence the build montage, right?
Yes. Sorry, I got distracted.
Okay, I don't usually do stuff like this when it comes to filming. Show off like what we see in our world, but we came across this, and it's villagers. It's not mean people.
It's villagers?
Oh my god, one of the babies are drowning. Oh my god, look at him, bro. Oh my god.
Oh my god, where is he?
We're gonna have to save him. Dude, you guys gotta keep your kids on a leash, bro.
So yeah, we're actually on a voyage to find copper because we're tired of waiting.
We figure, dude, okay, so we have the Coast armor trim. We have this mod called Trim Effects installed, and it gives armor trims unique effects. So Coast, I think, gives water breathing, if I'm not mistaken. I also got this upgrade from my
Golden apple?
backpack. Let's see where it is. The pickup upgrade, which pretty much makes it to where, like, everything I mine and pick up goes straight into my backpack. Yeah, so I mean, like, I know this is a modded world, and I kind of hate the fact that I haven't been showcasing, like, all we could showcase with this, so, you know, I figured I would show off some of this stuff for you guys. But yeah, I know I said that the build cinematic was coming up next, but, like, we needed copper so bad, so we were just like, dude, let's go find a trial chamber. Let's go find a trial chamber. Let's explore for this trial chamber. And, like, just set ourselves up for everything we'll need ever. But
And we came across something super cool.
yeah, but okay. For real this time, I'll see you guys with the build montage. Okay. I'm really nervous. I don't know why this build gave us a lot of anxiety.
The worst.
Oh, there it is. Dude.
Looks so good.
Oh my god. Dude, okay, I'm gonna talk about this real quick. Sometimes when I get onto film, I feel like I'm a completely different person. This is one of those times, because yesterday and the day before, the other 2 filming days that we've spent making this video, I've had really bad allergies and they were kicking my butt, so I haven't been feeling good, and I was editing this video, you know, the parts I did have, and I noticed I sound pretty bad, so I'm sorry. But there it is. Let's take a ride.
Let's get a little closer. As you guys may notice, there is a little green heart right up there.
Yep.
And the building is called Greenheart.
Yeah.
Correct?
Greenheart Moss Company. So these people. Moscow. Yeah. These people, they mass produce. They found a way to streamline moss through redstone technology. And dude, this is the factory that that their operations are in. And as you can see, it's very overgrown. So, like, the lore behind this place is, if you just take a little ride with me around, just a quick one, because I want to showcase everything individually, but the lore behind it is that there's so much bone meal being produced, and there's, like, so much, like, bone mealing happening within the building that, like, it just started seeped out and started bone mealing, like, the stuff around it. And that's kind of how this came to be. So yeah, there's a few things I want to talk about with this build, one of which being this little technique I learned from, was that Enderman? Am I tripping? It was. No, what does he have? Anyway, yeah, this is a little technique I learned from Reddit. I seen in the Minecraft build subreddit. I can't remember who it was that did this, but I saw this. It was like a concept, and I was like, I'm taking that. It's a pretty popular post, so if you see it,
Yeah.
you'll know. But shout out to that person. I should have saved it, but I didn't. So yeah. Observers, levers, and lightning rods. You can make these cool shapes from a distance. It really sells it.
And it just adds some visual interest, I
Yeah.
think. And same thing with the shelves. I know it's like it's modded, right? So might as well take use and advantage of that, and it matches the oak perfectly. So I mean, it just adds a little bit just of
A little bit of shape, depth.
3D, I guess.
You know?
Yeah, a little depth to it. That's the word I'm looking for.
We've got a lot of like factory components. This right here, these like copper pipes going into it. We use some like of this modded acacia. I really like how some of the planks are like different colors.
And more
So-
darker and then lighter, like the exposed. You know,
Yeah.
just really
So
cool.
I guess the thought process with this is kind of like maybe this feeds into the self-sustaining system somehow. Oh, dude, no way.
I do want to give a quick shout out to the glass in the back. I know it's like not seen, but I think it's so pretty. We used both green and lime glass, and it's the arch stained glass from the chip mod. Yeah, from the chip mod, and it's so pretty, and it just adds a little bit of character. And then like seeing the copper bulbs through it, just like gives a really big like factory feel to me. I just really love it.
But yeah, we have this like these like moss bundles out here, these moss bales, I guess you could call them. And again, like we said with the lore, is how like they're bone mealing so much that kind of bleeds out. So the thought process was kind of that like this got like bone mealed in the process, and some of the grass is turning into moss. Once we do our terraforming job, we'll probably like make a lot of this grass very like, I know one of our plans is to make the road stone, or just make the road through this place stone. So like mossy cobble all throughout this area, just to kind of really sell that, to make that a selling point, I guess. Yeah, around this side, more or less the same thing. Got more little moss bales, just little barrels, storage, who knows what's out here. Their stock, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry it's raining. It's like killing the aesthetic, but
the roof is so cool.
this is a gradient that I kind of worked out. Tried to the best of my ability. It was really frustrating because all the mossy brick you see, in the creative testing world, I built it out of infested bricks. So that really added on to the stress whenever I'm in easy place and I'm just like turning my brain off. And as I'm like walking and placing blocks, I just like fall through the roof. So, because it's like, easy place won't allow you to do this. And then it's just like, I want to rip my skin off. Anyway, this gradient I think works really well. I love how the tuff kind of has like green in it and blues in it. So like this blue right here is like pretty darn close to like these blues you see right here. And, you know, mossy cobble, mossy stone brick, just because it's green, and it's pretty much the same green as, like, the weathered copper. And then, deep slate, just because deep slate works.
It makes a really good contrast with the front, and compared to the rest of it, it's just a nice little color to bring in. And I just love the little copper, fully oxidized copper stripe throughout it, because it just gives a little bit more character, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, this place is, the texturing's very, maybe it's busy, but I don't know, I like it. I love how like the creamy colors of all the oak and the birch, just like, and the creamy colors of like the bone blocks, they all just like contrast very well with all the greens and the overgrown vibe. But
yeah.
Okay, with all that being said, I'm gonna let Sydney take over the interior because she designed the interior as she usually does. Take it away, Skitty.
I hear a spider. I hear a spider.
No, are you serious?
He's inside.
Bro. Oh my...
Imagine a creeper spawns
that was
back.
a creeper, bro, and it blew this up. Video ends right there, bro.
Hey, welcome in.
All right.
Okay, so obviously we have our big old farm in the middle. Y'all saw it earlier. It's nothing too special. And if you come around this side, we're just gonna come this way. Of course, we have some more bundles of moss and some more storage areas because Lord knows we need it. That back area leads to some redstone. So
This is just the noodles.
I like to have it open just in case we ever need to do anything with it. And the same thing over here, just, this we get a little sneak peek if you wanna. Okay. And, created this little it's kind of like for the supervisor to overlook the process. And I like this area, and it actually caught on fire and burnt half of the building down in our creative testing mode.
Yeah.
With the lava down there.
This is like the overseer's kind of deck. And like as we're building the place in creative, I forgot to turn fire tick off on the backup creative world. And like we're just like talking about how like it looks so good and stuff. And like we go in and I see this like gaping hole in the back of the building and I'm like, oh my god, like it's been burning this whole time.
And you know how like our mod adds like ash?
Yes,
so, like,
it's just like ash and everything.
Ash.
Yeah.
I really like it the way it looks from down here. Just multiple layers to it. It just looks pretty smooth, and of course our big like copper bulb to signify a little industrial lighting. It's very nice. I like it. I really like the copper bulb. I want to be using more copper in the future.
Looking back, like one thing we could probably do is we could have probably made the floor out of like mossy cobble and then worked moss carpet in and then put torches under them to kind of help with the spawn proofing.
I see what you mean.
But one thing that I think the reason why it's not spawn proof is because the glowberries aren't glowberrying, so there's just like space up there for them to spawn, and I have them sheared, so I mean, I don't know, maybe some torches will be fine. I like, you guys will rarely see this interior. It's
pretty. And oh my gosh, wait, come back inside.
Whoops.
Look at the glass of thing. Isn't that just so nice?
That was such a good idea. That was actually Sydney's idea because I was stuck on that back wall for the longest time. Because I was like, I don't want it to be so same, the front and the back. And it was. But she really did a good job helping figure this out. I would have never thought of this. No, yeah. So that's it. That's the moss farm. This has by far been the most stressful build out of all of them. And I love how earlier in this video I was talking about how there's been relatively no stress. And when I say that, I mean in terms of making the videos and editing them. But when building these things,
Lightmatica really, dude.
Yeah, Lightmatica be fighting Sydney back. Okay, well, look, y'all. With all that being said, I think that's all we have time for this. Oh my, dude, spit it out. That's all we got time for this time. We love you guys. Thanks for watching if you stuck around until the end. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Say something to the people. Some inspiration.
Thank you for watching. Come back again.
I said inspiration.